Celtic have signed Luis Palma and it's a done deal. We will discuss the ins and outs of this one in today's video, but before we do that, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Celtic content. We are still trying to get our heads around injuries to Cameron Carter-Vickers and Mark Nowacki that will keep them out of action for around 8 weeks. However, there is some better news on the injury front. When Rodgers spoke to Sky Sports, he said that Alistair Johnston is fit and available for the weekend against St Johnstone. The Canadian is yet to kick a ball under Brendan Rodgers after picking up an injury before pre-season. Johnston will be a welcome addition to the team. Mikey Johnston has been out since pre-season, and O has been struggling with an injury since the beginning of the season. Japanese boys Rao Hatate and Kobayashi will return immediately after the international break. Kobayashi will be cursing his luck that he's out injured while the club's first team defenders are missing. It means Celtic won't have Cameron Carter-Vickers, Nowacki or Hatate for the trip to Ibrox. Celtic are certainly going to be up against it. The boys take on St Johnstone on Saturday at Celtic Park and then will prepare for their away tie at Ibrox. Fingers crossed by then Celtic have called for some transfer reinforcements. It emerged a few days ago that Celtic had tabled a bid for Palma, and negotiations have progressed swiftly since then. Palma notably missed Aris Filonowski's training session on Thursday, signalling his intent to move to the Scottish club. This came despite a lucrative £1.6 million a year offer from a club in the Saudi Pro League. Upon joining Celtic, Palma stands to earn over £500,000 annually. This figure represents a significant bump from his current £70,000 yearly wage in Greece. Celtic's deal also involves an upfront payment of €4.1 million, with an additional bonuses potentially taking the total transfer fee to €5 million. Palmer will soon arrive in Scotland to undergo a medical and finalise the terms of his contract, becoming Celtic's 7th acquisition this summer. In this part of the video, we will do a deep dive into the player and let you know everything you need to know. There's potential for Palmer to develop further in Europe after a strong introduction on the continent in Greece, and he appears ripe for a club like Celtic to bring him on to the next level. Palmer played for 5 years as a senior player at his boyhood club, Vida, in his native Honduras, before a loan switch to Real Monarchs in the 3rd tier of American football paved the road to Aris last summer. He scored 13 times with 8 assists last season in just 36 matches, which is particularly impressive when considering his minutes per game ratio. He played an average of 58.3 minutes per match. That might not have been too much of an issue in Ange Postecoglou's system, with the Aussie looking to his bench around the hour mark to freshen things up, but Rodgers could look for more durability. A 21 goal contribution haul was more than Dyson Maida's 11 goals and 7 assists from 49 games, and marginally behind Abada, who struck 13 goals with 9 assists. There's a range of finishes in the Celtic's target locker, which would have come in handy during the Killie defeat, as he doesn't necessarily limit himself to the penalty box tap-ins. He scored an equal amount of goals from inside and outside the box, showing that a clinical finish comes just as naturally as a 25-yard rocket. In terms of contributions as an assist maker, he's likely to make most of his impact on the left. Most of his swings into the box came off that left-hand side, 24 of his 58, 41.4% successfully. Many of Maida's crosses came from this area too, 50 of his 66 to be exact, with a higher rate of impact at 45.5% overall. All but 5 of Greg Taylor's come in from the left and with a rate of 45%, but it is worth bearing in mind that the chances of Palmer to fizz crosses into the box will likely increase, playing for a possession-heavy team week to week. When it comes to his work off the ball, Palmer's recoveries in the final third has an XG rate of 1.57. Kyogo's is far higher at 2.35, but how this changes under Brendan Rodgers is still unknown, given the Japanese star defended from the front under Postecoglou, whereas under Rodgers he has been spotted dropping deeper to help build play. Palmer did make 16 penalty box recoveries though, which shows he can do the dirty work if required. What can Celtic fans anticipate? Palmer would certainly give Rodgers a bit more flexibility in the attack. He can be played off the left or he can be put through the middle, similar to Maida, who the Irishman has said can be used as a focal point under his reign. Palmer has also started the season in fine form, so there would be hope that he could continue over into life in Glasgow. The Greek season is only 1 game old, and much of Palmer's minutes have come in the Europa Conference League qualifying, so it's impossible to read into how much that one clash with OF Crete, a 3-2 defeat, says about how his upcoming season will go. But he did emerge from it as the man with the most shots, most crosses, most offensive duels, most dribbles and most deep completions in the top flight on matchday 1. Start as you mean to go on, he will hope. There's no doubting that a massive culture shock will hit him. It was a factor when his links to Rangers were being debated, but Champions League nights in front of 60,000 people at Parkhead are a far cry from his path to date. A journey which had him go from Honduras via American's 3rd tier to Greek's top division. who as of last season were a club who played in front of an average of 7,739 supporters. There's obvious talent on show though, and it's clear to see why plenty of clubs on the continent are believed to be after his services. Brendan Rodgers reckons the disappointment he feels from Celtic's losses lasts around 24 hours. Rodgers hasn't had too many tough defeats as Celtic manager. Sunday's League Cup exit at the hands of Kilmarnock was just his 27th competitive loss in the hot seat, and the first since he returned in June. Celtic tend to react well to disappointments under him, and part of that may be him not lingering on what's gone before. The Irishman has given an interesting insight, explaining how his reaction to damaging results offers from the average supporter. Clearly disappointed, Rodgers said when asked about the regrets after the Rugby Park loss. "My first time here, the story was magical, but I was under no illusions. That was one of my processes coming in I had to think about. Knowing that when I came in the first time how everything was, I pretty much knew it wasn't going to be like that the second time. But that's life. We have no God-given right to win every single competition. I know people will look for perfection, but it won't be that, especially this early in the process. It was really disappointing to lose. I'd say it's very disappointing for 24 hours when you lead. Supporters and everyone else will be hurt for longer. As the leader of the team and the guy who dictates the mood of the team, of course you have to move on, and that is what we will look to do. I know we will get better, I know the process will improve, and we push on with it." So plenty of interesting stuff to unpack from the manager there. While the Celtic support want him and the players to be hurting after Sunday, the reality is that they can't spend the whole week moping around Lennox Town feeling sorry for themselves. The game was a huge disappointment, but it's just one match. Sure, we won't be winning the domestic treble this season, but there's still so much to play for. Rodgers is right to remind us all that it is early on in the formation of his team. Yes, the majority of them have achieved great things already for the club, but they are now being asked to go again, and in a different way. Rumours of Paddy Roberts returning to Celtic have emerged, as the Scottish side continues its search to replace the recently departed Jota. However, these speculations have been called by Sunderland boss Tony Mowbray. Roberts, who currently plies his trade at Sunderland, has received firm backing from Mowbray, a former Celtic manager. Emphasising his satisfaction with Roberts, Mowbray stated via Football Scotland, "Definitely, 100%, Roberts is staying at Sunderland. He's just had a new haircut, he's as happy as a sandboy. That's news to me, there's people interested in Patrick, is there? That's not a concern at all to me. Patrick is in the right place. He's rebuilding a career back to the level where I feel as if we can get him to, and I hope he enjoys the freedom he's been given to attack and not to worry about losing the ball every now and then. When he eliminates people 2 or 3 or 4 and we score, it's amazing to see. I don't think there's an issue with Patrick." Roberts previously enjoyed 2 loan spells at Celtic, both under Brendan Rodgers. His performances in his last stint with the club was particularly notable, yet following a series of loans from Manchester City, Roberts seems to have found stability with Sunderland and is doing well with the club. Whilst Roberts undeniably possesses talent, many believe he hasn't entirely met the high expectations set for him, which is a pity for such a promising player. He's in a great place to perform at a decent level and kick on his career, but he won't be doing so at Celtic. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on the signing of Lewis Palma? Let me know down in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Remember, we have released our brand new Celtic t-shirts. We have our Brendan Rodgers Pope t-shirt and our Celtic Ultra t-shirts too. You can find them at celticpower.com or just go down to the link in the description. Thank you, take care, bye bye.